This lesson is a comprehensive guide that will teach you how to fix negative share errors. A negative share error results from incorrect trade matching in a data file, which may cause more shares to be closed than are opened. While it's simple to solve the problem, finding the root cause of the error may require a little more research. Throughout this lesson, we will address 4 common causes for this error. These include 1. Missing open positions, 2. Trades out of order, 3. Corporate actions, and 4. CUSIP numbers. Notice that under shares open, there is a negative red number. This means that there are shares unaccounted for in TradeLog. This number can change depending on what filter is set in the grid or what trades are being displayed. Because of this, we do not have an accurate profit or loss. Click the All button to display the trades with negative shares. The securities listed above are what's causing our problem, so we have to examine each one. As our hint suggests, we can double-click on each security to isolate it and fix our problem. First, let's examine CME. Notice that CME is part of trade number 2. This number identifies the individual trade or round trip conducive to the negative share error, and it allows active traders with even hundreds of trades to quickly identify problems and do trade analysis. Note though, once the error has been fixed, TradeLog will renumber and rematch your data. Thus the trade number may change. This trade is showing 18 shares being closed without a corresponding opening position to match. Remember to double-click the record to isolate all trades listed in this security. It appears that this is the only CME trade in our data file. Also notice that our date is May 7th, 2008. This means that the trade we are looking for was bought on or before this date. The only reasonable explanation is that we are missing a trade. More specifically, we are missing a beginning cost basis to CME. The first place we should check is our December statement of the previous tax year. Here we will clearly see whether or not CME was recorded as a holding before December 31st or a trade that was pending and not yet settled until after December 31st. It turns out that we did have 18 shares of CME open at the end of the previous year. The most common cause for the negative share error is missing open positions from the last tax year. For example, if you have 20 or more open positions that were not entered properly in TradeLog, you will most likely have 20 or more negative share errors. A lot of time can be saved if you properly enter in your beginning cost basis when directed to do so in the Quick Start Guide. We will have to enter in our missing position manually. We can do so by using the Add Record menu item. Type in the actual trade date, and make sure the trade is in opening position. Remember to provide a positive number of shares and the actual price paid for each share. Finally, verify the trading instrument and commission, if any. Press the Enter key on your keyboard twice to save this record. Click Yes to save your changes. After manually entering and saving a trade, TradeLog will prompt us to enter in another transaction. Only press No when all missing trades have been entered and the negative share error is fixed. When fixing problems such as this one, you may need to click All to repopulate the grid and display the remaining negative shares. Our next symbol, MasterCard, has 500 shares unaccounted for. Again, we first look at our December statement of the previous tax year to verify open positions carried over. However, MasterCard is not on this list. Once isolated, we can check 4 things that can help us determine the cause for this error. First, there are 2 different trade numbers. Also, there are 5 trades on the same date. Third, despite the negative share error we have received, TradeLog is showing that there are no shares open. Finally, if we click on the last trade of the round trip, we shouldn't see any shares open. Instead, we show 500 shares open, which is the exact number we are off by. We can conclude that this record is out of order. This is most likely due to the fact that our broker doesn't provide or is missing a timestamp. To fix this, use the Edit Fix Trades Out of Order menu item, or left-click and drag and drop the trade where it needs to go. Click Yes to move the record. Click Yes to save your changes. Our next trade has 2 entries, both with the same trade number. Also, the shares have doubled and the price has dropped dramatically in a 2-day period. This tells us there has been a stock split. To adjust for this trade, we can use the Edit Adjust for Stock Split menu item. For more on this feature, see the lesson on stock splits and spin-offs. With some trades, the ticker being used may have been changed due to a corporate action. WAMU, or Washington Mutual, is closing 10 shares at $3.22. And there is only one WAMU trade in the data file. Let's cancel our negative share error to review all of our trades. Do we see the problem? Washington Mutual's old stock symbol, WM, was used at an earlier time. For proper trade matching, it is imperative that the tickers match. For your convenience, this field is automatically defaulted to use all caps. But extra letters, symbols, and hidden characters are not filtered. For our example, WAMU would not match with WM. Also note, whenever changing a stock symbol, please be sure to use the latest symbol the company or organization is using. Press the Enter key twice on your keyboard to save your changes. At this time, we want to remind users that most brokers do not enter in a proper transaction in their trade history for spin-offs, distributions, or transfers. In our next example, TWC shares were received as a result of a spin-off of TWX. We simply need to enter in the cost basis that we received these shares. Watch as we demonstrate this. For our last example, let's consider how to handle CUSIP numbers. There are three things to consider when dealing with CUSIPs. 1. CUSIP numbers are commonly used as a 9-character alphanumeric identification for stocks. 2. Most brokers have an integrated database that matches CUSIP numbers to their corresponding stock symbol. However, this database is not available to their clients. And 3. CUSIP numbers are not accepted by the IRS because of improper trade matching and wash sale calculations. Also, they are deemed as an invalid description of property. So before we change this CUSIP to its proper stock symbol, we have to find out what that is. There are 4 general places where you can find and identify CUSIP numbers. You can look on broker statements, broker consolidated 1099 forms, a web search engine, or if all else fails, contact your broker. Once we find the correct stock symbol, we can edit the CUSIP so that TradeLog can match the trade correctly. Now the profit and loss is correct, and we don't have any more errors to fix. Now let's review how to solve negative share errors. 1. Identify negative shares. Click the All button on the toolbar to show these shares. 2. Isolate a security. Double-click on that record. 3. Verify and delete out any canceled or broken trades. 4. Check for missing baseline positions. review your December statement of the previous tax year. 5. Look for clues to determine if trades are out of order or if the ticker being used is not current. And 6. Adjust for corporate actions and CUSIPs. In most cases, users do not have to go through all of the steps mentioned in this lesson. Normally, the problem can be solved with a simple edit or a commonly used function in TradeLog. If none of these causes in this tutorial apply to your situation, you may be dealing with a more complicated issue. Please contact support for extra help. Please continue on to the next lesson.